When you think of gingham, you probably think of like a picnic, Americana, maybe Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. But what if I told you that gingham actually comes from the word ganggong, which means stripes? Because gingham as we know it probably originated in Malaysia. The Dutch colonized Malaysia in the 1600s. It was also being produced in Indonesia and in India. In the 1700s, the English popularized it as a way of stimulating their economy. And then folks say it was influenced by tartan. This has led a lot of people to say that ganggong fabric in Malaysia was originally striped instead of being checked. But I'm not sure that's true. And here is why. This is the Cambodian krama. The krama goes back to at least the 13th century. The krama is a very, very big deal in Cambodia. It's worn by everyone, men, women, children, and seen by many as a national symbol. Then we have pa ko ma from Thailand. These cloths have been used since at least before the 16th Buddhist century. It's a very big deal and they're very gorgeous. And it looks a lot like tartan, right? So like I said, some believe that gingham manufacturers were influenced by tartan, which of course is Scottish or Celtic. Until recently, a lot of scholars believe that tartan didn't go back more than a few hundred years ago. But there's more to that story as well. This is a mummy known as the Cherchen man. He is of Caucasian origin, meaning Western Asian, and found in the western desert of China. He's also over 3,000 years old. More importantly, here's a close-up of his sock. Textile archaeologist and historian Elizabeth Barber says that this is the earliest known version of tartan. And then because of the Indo-European family tree, especially like this part all the way over here, we now believe that tartan, instead of being a couple hundred years old, is more like over 3,000 years old. Then we have the French, who believe that gingham comes from France and they call it Vichy after the Vichy town. This may or may not be related to the idea that it comes from Guingamp, which is a Breton town. And if you remember, the Bretons are Celtic. But okay, back to Southeast Asia for a second. I'm sorry this is so confusing. I'm still trying to figure all of this out. So my question is, did tartan go back to influence gingham production or other fabric production in Southeast Asia through the Dutch colonizers? Or is there some kind of more ancient connection between Western Asia and Southeast Asia? To make things a little bit more confusing, Jude Stewart, who is the author of this book, Paternalia, says that there's a fundamental difference between gingham and tartan cloth. Because while gingham is more of a predictable pattern, tartan patterns have many different widths. Southeast Asian gingham was characterized by being dyed in the yarn, meaning the yarn is dyed before it is woven together, which is kind of a big deal. And we haven't even gotten to how it spread widely in the US, starting in the 1800s, and became almost a symbol of Protestant American purity and femininity. Also, Somalian plaid. I actually started making a chart trying to connect all these things together, so I'm gonna be reading more and then, I don't know, updating you guys. So we've just scratched the surface.